Welcome, everyone. It's Lady Isis, the spiritual detective, and we have a very interesting topic today. As you all know, we have been breaking down the energy of gangstalking and frequency psychosis, what I call frequency psychosis, which is basically where I realize a lot of people may get stuck in between awakening, integrating a higher frequency, and trying to understand what they're experiencing and perceive and what their perception is. Okay, so I've already talked about quantum physics and how that relates to gang stalking, and we definitely broke down my version of frequency psychosis, which is already on my YouTube. And no, I didn't post any to TikTok, but it's already on my YouTube. And today, okay, I'm gonna just go ahead and jump straight into it. Make sure when y'all coming in, y'all hitting that like button, okay? Leave your comments. Let me know where you're watching from. All of the things. I'm not going to pay too much attention to the comment section right now. I do see the comments, but I may not respond. That don't mean I'm ignoring you. It's just I have a my notes that I'm going off of, so I want to be able to fully express this topic in the best of my ability, and I don't want to be going back and forth. I'm also going to post this live to my YouTube, as I always do. For the ones who miss or may have to jump in and out, I post it there. And for my YouTube family, I shade to my YouTube family and my TikTok family. Okay, and let's just go ahead and jump straight into it. So what I do and what I teach is I teach a lot. Okay, a lot of layers. My breakdowns are very thorough. I'm very passionate about consciousness and awakening, and I want to be able to present myself as a guide to you. I am not here to convince anybody of anything. These are just my thoughts, my expressions. So that's why I have for entertainment purposes only. I see we got California in the chat. Welcome. Shout out to California, to Cali. But, you know, you have to take this information, analyze this information, and come to your own conclusions. I just require that you try your best to keep it rooted in truth. Okay? Truth. Not what we want it to be, not what we've been taught it to be. I encourage you to question things, question me. I'm an open book when it comes to this information. I'm not here to persuade you one way or the other, and I'm definitely not here to argue and be combative with anybody either. I don't argue my truth, and I encourage you not to argue yours either. Okay, but I do study these topics, so I wouldn't even try to present these things to the collective if I don't actively take time out of my daily life to study these topics and then put my knowledge into my real life. Okay, so do understand that. Now, I want to talk about envy and how it relates to the gang stalking energy and the war on frequency and your vibration. Okay, so envy at its highest expression multidimensionally. And I think that this will help us connect a lot of dots. Okay, so listen up. Envy is not just, I want to have what you have. Okay, or it's a lot deeper than that. At its highest, most evolved, multidimensional expression, envy becomes a full spectrum, energetic distortion that touches every layer of your being. Okay? So let's start with 3D. So that's the physical, what we see, touch, feel, smell, right? On a physical plane, behavioral envy. This is what most people recognize, okay? And this is what I feel like a lot of the physical gang stalking patterns that we recognize is rooted in, but it's also a pipeline for envy, okay? It's just how it shows up in your 3D experience, and we call it gang stalking, okay? However, the signs are copying your style, okay, your language, your purpose, or your relationships, competing with you silently, trying to outdo you, mimicking your moves but denying it, trying to sabotage you subtly, okay? And then 3D envy is action-based. It moves through imitation and opposition, okay? Because a lot of times when we're integrating a new frequency and we're evolving our consciousness, right? And we are expanding, okay? Our frequency is no longer contracted. We're expanding, okay? So these outside influences will perceive your higher vibration or integration as a threat to them and the system because they have a very limited aura. That, okay, if that makes sense. So they perceive you as a threat. And then this is where, with our higher intelligence now, we're aware of what we're experiencing and the patterns that that's always been there, but you're more aware of those patterns, right? So what's seemingly happening is that you feel you're the target. Okay. And that's not to say that you're not. Again, I want to make that clear. I'm never saying that what you're experiencing is not real and what you perceive is not real. I want to present to you the frequency knowledge of it. Okay, so when we think quantum physics and frequency, we have a different perspective on that experience and what we perceive as a threat. Now, if you are physically being harmed by somebody, make the proper steps to do what you need to do to protect yourself. Okay, somebody's harassing you, make the proper steps. Don't just ignore it, okay? But do understand that on another layer of that is rooted in envy. It's rooted in them wanting to minimize you to make them comfortable in their field. Okay, because we all have fields with us. We all have a frequency we're vibrating on. Okay, so that is what I feel is actually happening. Okay, I hope y'all understand and pick up what I'm just saying, because a person that envies you, a system that envies you, they will do things to try to intimidate you. They will do things to make you fearful. They will do things to make you feel like you're being stalked, harassed, so that you can live in fear. And then so that ultimately your vibration lowers, your frequency starts to contract rather than expand. Okay? Because every time we live in fear and we live in the targeted individual reality, you're contracting your experience. Okay? You're limiting your perspective, because that's what fear does. Fear is limit your perspective and your perception. And it distorts and it fragments the field, which is your quantum field. It starts to fragment, and then you start to perceive things bigger than what it is, or more, fear-based than what it really is. Okay. I want to make sure I ain't showing my stuff. All right. Now, the emotional plane, which is 4D. Okay. Resentment and unprocessed inferiority. Here, envy becomes an emotional parasite. I talked a lot about this emotional parasite on my page on TikTok. Okay. This envy expressed on a 4D plane, okay, it feels personal. It feels personally attacked by your success. Okay, so they may perceive what you like, okay, they perceive your success as a threat. I'm pretty sure we all get people that perceive our glow up, our come up, our, doing better as a threat. And you might feel like, well, damn, I went through so much to get to where I am. And you're jealous and envious of that. And I went through hell and back. Okay. I just want to let you know, on an emotional plane, that is envy. Okay. They resent you, and then they have unprocessed inferiority, and it manifests. Okay. It manifests in the way that they treat you. Okay. Good to see you too, steak and eggs. Thank you, Supernova. Okay, so being triggered by your confidence, feeling underserving but blaming you, a mix of admiration and hostility towards you. This is where they idolize you and hate you at the same time. That's envy. And on an emotional plane, I feel like that's basically, well, we're going to get into mental plane because that's next. Okay. But ultimately, all of these are psychological warfare tactics. Okay. Spiritual warfare, psychic warfare. Okay. And I'm just going through the phases of how it manifests on every, from the 3D to the 12D. Okay. That's what we're going to cover here. Okay. So on a mental plane, 5D shadow. Okay. That's comparative consciousness. From an envious perspective, right? Energy draining vampires, basically. Okay, this is when envy becomes identity threatening. So they define themselves through comparison. Your existence exposes their unhealed wounds. Their mind creates narratives to diminish you. Then they try to explain your gifts away. Or I feel like that's meaning like they try to make it seem like your gifts are not as powerful as they are. Okay. Or as unique as they are. They watch you obsessively. They analyze you. They study you, and they try to decode you. This is intellectualized envy. The dangerous type. Okay. This is also where handlers, predators, and narcissistic archetypes operate on the 5D shadow realm. This is why I say we're going to get into the psychological warfare aspect of it, because that's exactly what's be going on. Okay. But they think that if they analyze you enough, they study you enough, and they feel like if they can decode you, then they will somehow be able to obtain and embody the gifts that you have. Right? Wrong. Because the divine intelligence is always infinite. So it's always creating. That's what these entities lack. And these are very beastful, barbaric, animalistic entities. Okay. Thank you. These are very animalistic entities. They do not have the option or the acceptance to create. So they have to steal. They have to manipulate. They have to invert, traumatize, and abuse. Okay? Most of the masses are being controlled through trauma-based programming. Do understand this. Okay? And then they back up that research with these so-called psychiatrists, psychologists, sociologists that study human behavior, human sensories, or whatever you call it. Okay? And they back it up to make it seem like it's normal, and then make you the chosen one, or the one who's connected to source, who has the ability to create, to make you feel like you're abnormal. Again, these are beasts, animals, animal nature. Okay. And this is how it manifests on these realms. Okay. So on the 5D shadow realm, I see somebody put 5D in the chat. Hey, Clementine. Okay. This is what the purpose of handlers are. I probably ain't spoke a lot about handlers, but I have definitely mentioned it a lot in my content. Predators and obviously narcissistic archetypes. But to me, I feel like narcissism doesn't really scratch the surface as deep as the shit gets, or as diabolical as it gets. Because I don't want to speak in a way where you should be afraid, because I feel like if they had the power to really do what they say or want us to fear being done to us, then they would do it by now. Why sit back and study? Why sit back and try to decode the primordial coded individuals and gods and goddesses? Why try to, infiltrate or move with such deception and manipulation? Why do that? Oh, that means because the ones who's really tapped in and connected to source are really protected. That's what that really means. So that's why I say when I speak about gangstalking, I don't want us to move in fear. I want you to know that you are divinely guided and protected. Because anybody that wants to harm you, they will do that. They wouldn't have to do it from a distance. They wouldn't have to try to make you feel fearful to just merely exist and go about your day-to-day life. Okay? So fear not. It's just best that you study your enemy the same way your enemy studies you, so that they can manipulate you, so that they can be a predator towards you, so that they can be a handler over you, so that they can inflict some type of trauma and creating mental altars. Okay, because that's what trauma-based programming does. It creates altars for you to disassociate yourself from your true self. But a person that is authentic and really operating from the frequency and integrated the frequency of truth, you are divinely guided and protected. That's what you got to know. Okay? You have to, when I say that's what you got to know, you have to know that. You have to walk like that. Okay? Even if you got to walk alone, you're never really alone. It may look like it, but tell me why several groups have to come up with ways to attack you. Why do several groups have to put their brains together to attack one person? Why? That's because you outthink them. You are highly intellectual, highly intuitive, tapped into infinite intelligence. So that means that their operations are just not strong enough. No matter how much studying they do, no matter how many fear-based operations that they do, I truly believe the only way that they can successfully attack you is if you let them by fear. Okay? They have to manipulate knowledge. They have to mimic and copy the blueprint. The blueprint is anybody connected to source. That's the blueprint. They can't create a blueprint. They have to manipulate the blueprint. They have to manipulate your perception. This is why they do what they do. Because they want to control our realities. I control my own reality. Do you? That's how you got to think about it. It ain't even a thought. You just do it. It's not a thought. You just do. Okay? Many people talk the talk, but a lot of people don't walk the walk. And that's what you will find. Okay, let me move on because I got to get up off here soon. All right, so we're going to go on to astral plane. That is the 6D. Okay, so that's projection and energetic masking. This is envy as a spiritual strategy. All right, that's when they think they get fancy and get cute and they want to strategize their envy. Okay, because they're going up against a divine being, creating war. Mind you, they create this war because chosen ones and source connected beings don't really think about them at all. We're too busy creating and minding our motherfucking business. Okay. But then you have these counterintelligences and these counter warfare tactics. Okay. That strategize spiritually. Okay. So the expressions would be, they try to energetically become you after they study you, right? After they try to decode you and analyze you. Now they want to energetically become you. We watched this happen with Diddy, with his soft ass. We watched this happen with Diddy. That's just an example. People do this on your day to day. Okay. The average Joe, your family, start with them. Okay. So stealing your aesthetic, your essence, and your symbolism, projecting their flaws onto you, using your identity as their mask, trying to shift timelines to replace you. This is what we call destiny swap. Okay? That's strategy. That's strategic. They get close enough, play buddy buddy. Oh, this is my homeboy, this is my homegirl. Diddy. He tried to steal the essence. He hated Tupac. I just got to say it. I should have put on my Tupac shirt today. He studied them. This is just an example, right? But this is what we watching unfold in real time. So why not? He studied them for years. They said he started going to places where this culture is at, because he really don't have shit. No authentic bone, nothing, right? This is think about your experience and how motherfuckers really don't be creative, don't be authentic, don't have nothing, okay? And then they study you, they try to become you, they try to talk like you, they try to move like you, okay? They try to mirror how empathy looks. Or mirror what your gifts are. If you have a gift to speak, or you have a gift to, create things, sing, whatever that may look like for you. We all got something that we love to do. Okay. They just start to mimic that. You wear your hair a certain way. Now they want to wear their hair a certain way. And then they do it so much so till they feel like they can identify as you. So here is where envy becomes identity mimicry. They don't just want to have what you have. Have you ever experienced envy and hate from a person that physically has more than you? Better car, better house, more money? Hell. But somehow they mad at you. Because they envy who you are at the core. Your purpose, your destiny, your protection. Your authenticity, your ability to keep going even when the whole world feel like it's against you. You showing up being exactly who you is unapologetically. That pisses people the fuck off. People who don't know themselves. Not to from an authentic being to another. We appreciate that shit. I can appreciate another authentic person. But see, an inauthentic, organic, beast-like animal, natured person, they want to take you out and they want to wear your skin, your essence, your aesthetic, and become a symbol of you. And then make you become a shell of who you is. Have everybody looking at you like you was the lame. Diddy. It's a bunch of Diddies walking around this motherfucker. Anyway, now, here envy becomes the identity mimicry. They don't want what you have. They want to be who you are. Say this church. This is church, okay? So now we're going to go on to the soul plane, because this here going to help you in real life. I don't want to sugarcoat nothing for you. And I want you to be fully equipped. And really, when you think about it, Like, when you really sit and think about it, a lot of these motherfuckers be comical. Like, it's laughable at the extent that they will go, the amount of energy that they will put in. And for some, like I said, if it don't feel right, it ain't right. Because we don't know if Diddy for sure took out Tupac and Biggie. Technically. But those who know. You know what I mean? That's the extent that some people are even willing to go to try to take you out and attack you physically. That's why I say I am not here to take away anybody's experience, but you do need to trust your intuition. Biggie said he didn't want to stay in California that much longer, but he wound up staying in California that much longer because Diddy persuaded him and overriding his intuition. He wound up staying. But his intuition was telling him, nigga, boy, get the on. You're not supposed to be here. I don't feel safe. Something ain't right. Your intuition will save your life. Rest in peace to Biggie and Tupac. I just, it just, and then they live that life where, I have a lot to say about that, but this ain't about that. I just want to use that as an example. Moving on. Soul plane, so this is 7D to 9D. Okay. Soul contract, jealousy. So this is where envy becomes like your existence, okay? They hate your existence. So they resent your destiny. They resent your chosen path. They resent the protection over your life. They resent your divine protection or backing. They resent your soul rank, because we do have ranks. They resent the mission that you came with. This is cosmic envy. This is why we are actively in a cosmic war. Okay? So it's envy of your purpose, not what you have per se. Somebody may be envious of what you have, but ultimately they're envious of your purpose and who you are and your essence. That's something they can never buy. It got to be in you, not on you. Okay? Soul rank. Okay, we don't get into that. It's envy of your blueprint. Okay? Not necessarily your achievements. It's envy of your soul and not necessarily your personality. Although we know there's a gray area there. They could be jealous of those things too. But ultimately at its core, it's envy of your essence. Okay? I'm glad you're here. I'm just saying. She said, I'm glad I found you. Okay? So the archetypical or archetype plane. So this will be the karmic mirror. This is where envy becomes a shadow in this initiation. So they see in you what they could have been, what they abandoned, what they betrayed in themselves, what they denied, and what they lost. So you become a mirror to them. And mirrors are either worshipped or smashed, or they want to attack you. So this kind of takes us back into that Gangstalking energy, and then the frequency war, the war that's on your frequency. Okay? Because it's like when you have spiritual rank or soul rank based off your past life experiences, wisdom that you've attained, energy that you've integrated, expanded consciousness, awareness, spiritual gifts. Okay, that's all included in your spiritual rank, right? So they will envy the fact that you mirror what they could have been had they chose to awaken the divine on the divine path. Okay? So they will envy the fact that you mirror back to them everything that they don't have, that they can't get because they lost access. Okay? They're not connected to source. So they don't have access to that power that you naturally possess. Okay? So it's a mirror of what they deny, okay? Because then you have people that will sacrifice their souls. They will sacrifice their souls, their self-respect, their integrity, you know, their spiritual gifts, and use it for darkness. Use it for the dark occult, okay? And when they naturally don't possess what you have by way of the divine, it triggers them, okay? It triggers them. So that's why I say, and the mirrors will either be worshipped or smashed or destroyed. Okay? They don't respect you because they don't have that self-respect within themselves. They pretty much sacrifice that for that popcorn fame, some type of lifestyle, some type of staple in society, or some type of you know, status, whatever that may look like for them. Okay? But the divine beings are not willing to sacrifice anything that's going to compromise who we are at the core. So that's our self-respect, our integrity, our dignity, loyalty, honor to the divine. You're not willing to sacrifice those things. So it's not that they don't have the opportunity. They sacrificed the opportunity. You get what I'm saying? They had the opportunity, they sacrificed it. And you know, that's not our problem. That's why it's not our problem to stay connected to people that's toxic and that's choosing to be toxic. We all got a choice. We all have a choice. It's not for me to fix you. I won't try to fix you. I don't give a damn about fixing you. I'm going to save me every time. Why? Because they're going to save them. So someone here, save yourself. It's not for you to fix people. You can't heal nobody. They got to choose to heal themselves. Do know that. Okay? So on the quantum plane, frequency conflict, okay, which we speak a lot about here, which is I call frequency psychosis, right? Okay? So at a quantum level, envy is a frequency mismatch. You're not resonating with each other. Okay? So you vibrate at truth, integrity, authenticity, alignment, destiny. They vibrate at scarcity, fear, lack, shame, ego survival, fragmentation, self-abandonment, self-sabotage. Your frequency threatens their illusions of self. So why would you let these people scare you or make you feel like you have to embody the concept of being a targeted individual? Why would you make these low vibrational or give them that much power in your reality to make you feel like you can't live a fulfilling life? They don't have nothing to do with materialistic things. Materialistic things are nice. I'm not saying that they're not. But who you are at your core is what really matters. You being able to live in peace and observe and detach. That's the real power. That's the real power. You don't have to, I feel like I need to say this, but I need to pick my words. Like, I don't necessarily love everybody, if that makes sense. Like, especially more than me. Okay? I don't want to stick around nobody who drains me, who has a scarcity mindset. That's hate. To me, you're projecting hate. So why would I love you? Why would I stick around for you? Why would I continue to pour my energy into you? Why would I do any of the sort when you're projecting hate, whether that's consciously or subconsciously? Okay? We can pick and choose who we want in our reality. You don't have to have everybody just because you grew up with them, how long you knew them. None of that matters when it comes to your safety and your sovereignty. Everything I name, your truth, your integrity, your authenticity, your alignment, your divine purpose, your destiny, that's you choosing to live in your sovereignty. Okay? So with that being said, you can't love everything, can you? That sounds like an oxymoron to me. I love those that resonate with me. Anything else is an opposition to me. I can feel you being an opposition to me. I can feel the environment being an opposition to me. I can feel whatever I need to feel when I feel it that lets me know how I need to move and maneuver. Which means that space, that person, that place, that thing is an opposition to me. So therefore it hates me. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? See, as empaths, we have to understand that it's not your responsibility to love everybody and everything and fix everything. It's not your responsibility. Now, a person that wants to be, they will show you. They will project that onto you. Grand Rising. A person that loves themselves can love you because they're going to project love back to you. If they don't love themselves, they hate themselves. They don't have no self-respect. They're going to project that onto you because they hate themselves. You understand? So it's not a bad thing to hate something that hates you. All right. I felt like I needed to say that. All right. So envy becomes an attack on your energy because your existence threatens their identity structure. Okay. So the highest multidimensional expression of envy is a desire to erase you. Okay. That's the desire. And I'm going to give y'all another gem. I think this is a gem. This how I look at it, right? I think of everything. Thank you, Pearly. I think of most things. Make sure y'all double tapping the screen too, okay? Let's get the hearts up. Everything has a seed. Every emotion is like a seed, right? I either view it as a garden or I will view it as a tree. Imagine people walking around as trees, right? Your desire is that seed. Whatever seed you plant in your heart space is going to grow from your heart space into your mind. Okay? So what I like to say is envy is at the root of this tree. The branches are how they manifest on different planes. So from the 3D to the 12D. I hope that makes sense. So if you view people as walking trees, whatever fruits they produce, that's the seed that's in their heart. That's who they are. You understand what I'm saying? It's not a coincidence that people are the way that they are, because it's their desire that waters that seed. So who they are mentally are the fruits that they produce. Make no mistake. Okay? That's how I see it. If you are rotten, if you're producing rotten fruit, I don't want nothing to do with you. Okay? Simple. And you know them by their fruits. The Bible even say that. You will know a person by their fruit. Because that seed of desire is only going to produce the fruit of which that seed is. You can't plant no apple seed and get oranges. Just don't work like that. And who people are at the core works the same way. So that's how I like to think about it. And I think about a life as a garden. Okay? And the same concept. You got weeds amongst your beautiful flowers. Them weeds is going to start eating at the nurturing of the other flowers in the garden. Okay? Next thing you know, you got weeds all over the place. That's how you got to think about your mind. Your mind is a garden. Or your body is a tree. However you want to think about it. Don't make somebody's fruit be something else. You see the fruit, you ain't got to explain. You ain't got to over-explain. You ain't got to ask no questions. Let people show you who they are. Let people show you who they are. You sit back and you observe, right? Because we always observe. That's how you stay in your power, right? You observe your environment. You observe people. You observe what they say. You observe the energy that you pick up from them. You observe your nervous system and how it's responding to their tree and their fruit. Don't make it nothing else. I don't care about the potential. I don't care about what you think they ought to do. Don't give no advice. Let people be who they is. And you move accordingly. This is how you save yourself time, energy, and heartbreak. And ultimately, being around people who have envy in their heart against you that secretly wants to take you out or become you. Don't sacrifice yourself. See, that also comes from that trauma-based programming as well, where we as empaths self-sacrifice ourselves by way of the environment, the toxic environment, toxic family dynamic. And then they invert your empathy and make you feel like you got to be self-sacrificing yourself your whole life. No, you don't. I'm here to tell you. A recovering people pleasing to the core. Absolutely not. Don't self-sacrifice yourself because that's what they want. They don't want you to trust your intuition. They don't want you to trust what your nervous system is telling you. Your nervous system is an intelligence that is communicating with your mind, with your intuition. That's your power. One of them. Because we multifaceted. That's one of your powers. But it's very important because if they can control how you feel, your emotions, okay? Your emotions is energy and motion. So if they can control that, they can control your frequency. Then they can control your reality. Then they can control how you perceive things. They fear the one who cannot be controlled. They fear the one that cannot be persuaded. They fear the one who cannot be oppressed. They fear the one who is authentic. They don't have no counter warfare tactic against an authentic being in their purpose and on the path of their divine destiny. They can't fuck with that. They can't override that. This live will be on my YouTube, okay? If you want to go back and watch it, it'll be on YouTube. But they can't fuck with it, and they know this. They don't want you to know this. But you talking and you listening to somebody who lived this life. I would tell you no lies. We might tell a joke, but I would tell you no lies. And then they really fear, this is where we bring in quantum physics. Your ability to consciously create threatens their system. All of these systems are systems of oppression to oppress you on from the 3D to the 12D. All of it. So we've all been victim to this system. We've all been victim to the system. Okay? So the highest multidimensional expression of envy is a desire to erase you. Energetically, symbolically, mentally, socially, spiritually, sometimes physically. We can't leave that out. Okay, but they want you to be silenced. They want you to dim your light. They want you to be distracted. They want you to doubt yourself. They want you to feel like you're invisible. They want chaos and confusion to be in your field, so you be spiritually off balance. Okay? And narratives that minimizes your magnitude, because your very being exposes their unhealed fragments. Okay? This is why we need to do what we do. This is why you walk in your truth and your authenticity. This is why you speak your truth. Even if your voice shakes, even if you're afraid, this is why you do it. This is why I do it. I do it because they want us to be silent. They don't want us to talk about our truth to others, because we start to awaken others and we start to have other people questioning their reality. I want you to question your reality. Because who the hell told them that they're supposed to control the way a person thinks? You're not God. You're not the divine. But these are people that's obsessed with power and control. If you're rebellious like me, you're going to do the opposite. Because oppression does nothing for you, but makes you weak, silenced, dimmed. You become a slave. Who wants to be a slave? Not me. This is why you question everything. Don't stop. Let your question, what I say, we investigate the investigations. That means we question everything nonstop. Okay? So why do you experience this so often? Because you represent an unchosen timeline that they abandoned, a frequency their ego cannot hold, a level of awareness that they cannot fake, a destiny that they cannot earn, a spiritual rank they cannot bypass. Let me say that again. A spiritual rank that they cannot bypass. No matter what they do. No matter how many operations they come up with. How many organized crimes they try to do, or organized stalking. They can't bypass your spiritual rank. Okay? A level of self-trust they cannot manufacture. Okay? So you got to trust yourself so much that nobody can convince you otherwise. You got to trust your intuition that much. My intuition ain't never let me down. I mean, never. I can say that with the ultimate confidence. My intuition has never let me down. Now, have I gaslit myself? Have other people gaslit me out of that knowing? Yes. But was it wrong? No. Did it warn me? Absolutely. And that connects us right back to that trauma-based programming by way of your environment and your family dynamic. They create environments for you. They prime you so that you will consider yourself a targeted individual the rest of your life. Okay, you are a chosen one. You are a divine being on a divine purpose with a divine plan. Divine protection. If you are a targeted individual, then they better move the hell out your way, because all shit finna break loose. And that's how you got to look at it. You want to target me? Well, we finna set it off in this motherfucker. Or you could go on about your day. Simple. But 9 times out of 10, they really too coward to come put hands on you for real. Unless they get close enough to you. You know what I mean? That's just my experience. And I've been through a lot. To the point where you can't be in my space. I don't want you in my space. Most people are not allowed in my space. If I don't have to deal with you, I won't. Because a lot of people do be weird. But like I said, you just got to know that you know. Okay? You have to know that you are protected. And the universe will rearrange itself to make sure you are protected. Do you know how powerful that is? Especially in a reality where nothing is a coincidence and everything is already predestined. And knowing that should give you the confidence that you need to move about your life and free as a bird. Any circumstance and situation that's not in alignment with your purpose, it gotta move. What's that scripture about the mountain? Yeah. Like our experiences, sometimes your situation may show up like a mountain that you feel like can't move. You sit in your authenticity. You sit in your knowing. You sit with the divine. You be still. Love over fear. Matter of fact, I got a shirt that say that on YouTube. Go get you one. Love over fear. Power over fear. That's what it say. Power over fear. Okay? And then in knowing that, that's how you move about your life. No matter what you observe happening in your reality. No matter what nobody try to project onto you. No matter what people try to convince you of. That's true power. And that's that unfuckwittable power that they know they can't override. They cannot override authentic energy and frequency. They cannot. So I said, that's why they do what they do. That's why they try to intimidate you. That's why they try to organize little shit in the shadows and try to deter you and, you know, try to get you off your path, try to delay you and shit. Because like I said, if it was really that deep, if they really wanted to wipe you out, why would they have to do all of that? Why? Oh, because you can't override that spiritual rank and my true destiny. And I've accepted my true destiny. We've accepted our true destiny. Okay? So that's how we move. That's how you move. All right? It's always a method to my madness. I promise you. So again, y'all go to my YouTube and y'all find my Gangstalking videos and y'all watch them. I do not promote fear. I promote solution. I see that we have a collective problem and I'm here to present you with a collective solution. Okay? To expand your mind. You got to have an open mind and you got to be willing to step out of the victim mentality and your limited beliefs. Okay? Your limited beliefs is a program by way of the matrix through trauma. Okay? You have to be willing to step out of that frequency of fear and into love, which is your authenticity, your knowing, your intuition, and observe what's happening. Okay? It's a program when you respond to let's say, a lot of times when we are fear-based minded, and say something is happening, right? And it gives you a feeling of intimidation or fear, or it's a threat, a lot of times we've been programmed to override that our observer effect so that we can make a sound decision. A lot of times our nervous system goes straight into fight or flight. If you are in fight or flight, your critical thinking shuts down. You're not able to think clearly. That's from trauma. And that's surviving in environments that was toxic. Okay? So the true power comes when you can observe your nervous system even in a situation that feels threatening. Because a lot of times it's false evidence appearing real. Sometimes we may perceive it as more of a threat than what it really is. Again, not taken away from a direct threat. Not taken away from a direct threat. But what I'm saying is sometimes it may not be as serious or as threatening. And you do have time to think. You don't have to run, or you don't have to shut down and disassociate either. You understand? Or you understand? Okay. Now, let me hurry it up. Let's see what else. Where did I leave off at? Okay, so your existence is activation. Say sometimes it's a blessing, you mistake it as a threat. Right. And that's all about the programming that we have individually. How you've been programmed to perceive certain things as threats. Or if it triggers a feeling or emotion that you had to learn as a defense mechanism in childhood in order to survive that environment. Okay. Did it trigger that? And if it did, that's where you need to do some healing integrations at. That's a fragment that needs to be made whole again. Okay? Because anytime you have fragments in your field, fragments in your mind, then it alters your perception. Okay? Now, so your existence is activation and judgment at the same time. Your mere existence, it will either activate people or it will place them under judgment at the same time. So that's why I say too, a lot of times with truth, people get offended. People reject truth. They love lies, but they will reject the truth. They will reject the truth for many reasons. Maybe it's the delivery. Maybe it's the person that's saying it. Maybe they rather hear truth, what they perceive as truth, from a certain aesthetic or a preacher for the churchgoers. You know, it's like, it just depends. They'll judge it either way it go. But for some, your truth, the truth, will activate it. So still speak your truth. Still, do what you do. Move in your purpose. Because those that need to hear the message, those that need to feel the message will. But do know that a lot of times the attacks are coming from people who feel judged. You are a mirror to them. And you're showing them aspects of themselves that they are not wanting to face. They want to avoid by any means necessary. So then they perceive you as a threat. Subconsciously, they perceive you as a threat. That's because they're programmed. Okay? All right, so the antidote to multidimensional envy for you, that is to stay in your neutrality. Observe. Stay in your truth. Stay in alignment, no matter what happens. You know they can't take you out before your time because you're divinely guided and protected. The only thing they can do is intimidate you and make you live and feel like you living in fear and you ain't safe. That's it. Once you override that and you integrate your truth, it's a wrap for them. And they know this. That's why they don't want you to get to this point. Okay? So for them, their envy will either evolve them or destroy them. Okay? But that's their contract. That's not our burden. It's not our burden, empaths. Highly sensitive beings. It's not our problem. You lead them over there. You stay where you, I ain't saying be fearful about where you move, but definitely be in spaces where you feel safe. Okay? And I think I'm going to have to leave it there because I got to get ready to go. But next live, I want to go into envy through secret societies and intelligence networks. Very important topic. Very, very, very important. So I'm going to post this to my YouTube, link in bio on TikTok. Okay. My healing trauma ebook is also in a link and it will be in the description or the pinned comments on YouTube if you want to check that out as well. I teach you how to take a comprehensive and transformative approach to healing in real time. Okay. I also give you some knowledge about your 7 spiritual bodies and how it connects to your chakras and how to align your chakras and how to recognize which chakras are stagnant or unaligned to raise your vibration and your frequency. Okay. This is a frequency war. They want to lower these beasts, these animals. Okay. These barbaric entities want to lower your frequency so that then you will be in alignment and resonating with them. And then they can attack you and then they all the different things, okay? All of the fucking things that they like to do. But one thing they can't do, they can't evolve. They can't raise their frequency or their vibration. Okay? So this is a frequency war. I will be back. I can't say when. I don't like to say when, but I will be back. Okay, y'all have a big, beautiful day on purpose with a purpose. Thank y'all for the likes, shares, comments. I seen a repost, the gifts, all of the things. Okay, love y'all so much. And I appreciate y'all. And yeah, do y'all thing out here. You are divinely guided and protected. Don't let nobody tell you different. And that's how you move. Unless they want to set it off in this motherfucker. But they don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. Bye, y'all. Say that I meant. Yeah, go to YouTube. I'm posting to YouTube later today.